How does a player dominate his position for over a decade yet never make a single all-star team? It sounds impossible. But Kevin Kiermaier didn't just play elite defense, he may have redefined it entirely. So why did the league keep overlooking him while he was quietly making history? And once you see what the numbers reveal, you'll start questioning everything you thought you knew about greatness. What if the greatest defensive outfielder ever never made a single all-star team? It sounds absurd, but Kevin Kiermaier is forcing that exact conversation. We're talking about a player whose advanced metrics don't just rank near the top, they dominate legends like Willie Mays, Ichiro Suzuki, and Roberto Clemente in certain categories. And he did it in fewer games with less hype and almost no recognition. So how does someone outperform icons, yet stay invisible to voters and fans alike? Because the deeper you dig into the numbers, the more unbelievable this story becomes. Before the highlights, before the metrics, before the debate, Kevin Kiermaier wasn't just overlooked, he was almost completely ignored. Drafted 941st overall by the Tampa Bay Rays, he watched 30 teams pass on him over and over again. While other prospects signed for millions, Kiermaier got just $75,000, and even then expectations were basically non-existent. In fact, he remains the only player ever taken that late to even reach the majors. No hype, no spotlight, no guarantees, just one believer and a skill nobody fully understood yet. But what happened next made every single team regret that decision. Even after reaching the system, nothing about Kevin Kiermaier screamed future star. His bat looked raw, his ops was underwhelming, he wasn't ranked on any top prospect lists. In fact, most scouts saw him as a long shot to ever make the majors. The Tampa Bay Rays even sent him overseas just to fix his swing. Everything pointed to a limited ceiling and a short career. But hidden beneath those flaws was something rare, something teams weren't fully measuring yet. And it was about to change everything. Because the moment he reached the field, the narrative flipped instantly. The moment Kevin Kiermaier stepped onto a major league field, everything changed. Suddenly, the long shot was making plays that didn't look real. Runners stopped testing his arm. Hits started disappearing into his glove. In just limited games, his impact was undeniable. Elite WAR, jaw-dropping catches and throws that left teammates stunned. Even veterans couldn't believe what they were seeing. It wasn't just good defense, it was something entirely different, something the league wasn't prepared for. And then, he delivered a season that made ignoring him impossible. In 2015, Kevin Kiermaier didn't just break out, he shocked the entire league. His 6.9 WAR ranked among baseball's elite, ahead of stars like Mookie Betts and Manny Machado. But here's the twist, his bat was average. His glove did all the damage. A staggering 37 defensive runs saved, a gold glove, a platinum glove, game-changing plays almost every night. And somehow he still wasn't an all-star. That's where the debate truly exploded. Because if this wasn't enough, what exactly does it take to be recognized? At some point, Kevin Kiermaier stopped being just great and became a data anomaly. New metrics like outs above average and jump didn't just favor him, they exposed a gap between him and everyone else. His reaction time, first step, and roots were on another level. He was covering more ground in 3 seconds than most players could in 5. Add an elite sprint speed and a 100+ mph arm, and suddenly you're looking at a complete defensive weapon. Not good, not elite. Something else entirely. But even numbers this insane couldn't protect him from what came next. Just as Kevin Kiermaier reached his peak, everything started falling apart. Not performance, his body, wrist surgery, hip fractures, broken bones. Season after season, injuries kept pulling him off the field. And yet, every time he returned, he was still one of the best defenders in baseball. The numbers never dropped. The impact never faded. It raised a dangerous question: what if he had stayed healthy? How far could he have pushed the limits of defensive greatness? Because even with all that damage, he still wasn't finished. Just when it looked like Kevin Kiermaier was fatting out, he flipped the story again. With the Toronto Blue Jays, he turned back the clock, winning another Gold Glove in his 30s and making impossible plays look routine. The bat wasn't scary anymore, but the glove, still elite, still game-changing. Then came one final chapter with the Los Angeles Dodgers, a veteran role, a championship ending, and proof that his impact never truly disappeared. But even after all that, one question still divides baseball fans today. So where does Kevin Kiermaier truly rank? Without full footage of legends like Willie Mays, the debate may never end. But by modern metrics, his case is undeniable, arguably the greatest defensive outfielder we can measure. And that might completely change how you define greatness.